All right, welcome back. Personal Healthcare Reform Talk Show on PHCR TV. This is the expose segment where the big story happens. This actually is, whatever the theme of the show is, the expose segment is really going to dig in deep. Kind of like an investigative reports thing, but I am not an investigative reporter, as you'll find out. I may actually have one on staff as we grow this thing that can go out and really dig in deep on some stories. But until then, you have me. The main thing we're going to do with this is to actually make the theme of the show real. So if we're talking about, say, immune function in the system, we get the health and news, which covers all kinds of stuff. I'll have the interview segment where I'm going to interview somebody that's relatively knowledgeable about this or an expert about this. So we'll talk to that person about this. We may keep them on for the expose segment, or they may not stick around for the expose segment, and then you just have me to talk about this and really dig in deep and take the information that they presented in the interview and make it much more real for you. Give you some stories. Go through some of the research a little deeper. If there's one key component of a story that I really want to hit on, that's what we're going to do in the expose segment. With that, some of it's going to be in here. So we'll be doing the movie magic. We'll have the big screen up, and I'll have stuff coming up here. We'll have all kinds of stats and things put up here. And the big thing is, a lot of times we're going to be outside the studio. So if you follow along with us on Twitter, go to Twitter, type in #CBFit, follow along on there. Whenever we go out and we're roaming around doing stuff in the city of Dallas, sorry for not in Dallas, we'll get to you eventually as we grow this thing. But follow us on Twitter because we will be having specials. So if we are someplace and they have supplements or they have food or something like that, they may be giving stuff away. We may be giving stuff away. After I get my shirts made, we may be giving out PHCR TV t-shirts for everybody. This way you can see us, you can see our health partners who we're working with in the industry to help keep you healthy. And you'll get a really sweet shirt, because if I make shirts, they're going to feel very good because I want you wearing them everywhere. But with that, this is really to dig in deep on some sort of informative story to give you a much bigger knowledge base. A few format changes that you may see in this. It may just be me and the person I interviewed. We may have a round table. I may have 4 or 5 people in here. We may have a couple different experts. We may have some different doctors in here. We may have like half the table chiropractors, half of them MDs. As we get this thing bigger, we may have some naturopaths on. I'll throw one subject out there, put it in the middle, and we'll see what kind of discussion we get out of that. Who knows? They may break out and start fighting, and I'll make sure I have some gloves and a cage on the side, and we'll put them in the cage and let them have at it. Because that would be hilarious. I love MMA. You may see some stuff like this happen, and that's actually one of my favorite fighters, Johnny Bones Jones. If you haven't watched him, he's like poetry to watch in there. But I digress. With that, we'll have that. We'll have group format things where there'll be several different experts on one subject. We'll sit there. I'll throw one thing out there. We'll see what kind of consensus we can come up on that. We may have some, we may have none. It may turn into The View, because sometimes The View is fun to watch. Or sometimes it's just going to be you and me one-on-one. I'll be right here in the camera with you, just like that. If you have ever watched, and if you haven't, I suggest you do this, go on YouTube, watch Jack LaLanne, pull up his YouTube channel, watch his little cut segments on there. There's going to be some of that on here with me and you, where if I have something that's really heartfelt that I want to get off my chest, or a story that's really, really important to me that I think you should see, because this is my show, it's going to be very much one-on-one with that, probably to help inspire you, give you something to reach for, put things much more into context, make things real. Because a lot of times the health and fitness industry is smoke and mirrors. It's out there. It seems very unattainable. So I want to make this thing very real, very easy to do, because really and truly, once you start doing a little bitty tiny pieces of this and incorporating it into your life, it gets very much real, and then it just becomes a part of your life. It's your lifestyle, and that's what you do, and it's not this weird thing out here that's just kind of a dream. And that's what we're going to be doing with these, with this show, probably for the expose. That's why I want to give you really deep, detailed information in this and give you some steps to utilize these things. So it's not just me throwing information out there to you. It's presenting, here's some information, and here's some steps to use this stuff. Here's how to incorporate it into your life. Here's how to make it, much more real for you, your family, things like that, because everybody knows somebody with some type of health situation that they want help with, and that's really what this is for. Same thing with, speaking of going online, following us on Twitter and also on Facebook. I post tons of stuff on Facebook. Some of the exposés will come out of stories from what I put on the Facebook page. If you haven't been there, go there, Facebook/cbfit.phcr. There's the personal healthcare reform page on there. I'm posting stuff all day long, especially when I'm at home doing research. You'll see a whole steady stream of tons of things going on there. And I do read everything that I put on there. I read it several times before I post it, just so you know, because I'm a research hound. I've got to know for myself, and if I don't like the article, I toss it. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of poetry from my website. And I encourage you to go on the website, check it out. It's being revamped right now. By the time you see this, the brand new one will be up. It'll be spectacular. And after the show, I will have extra information on the blog, because there's only so much I can do with 12 minutes of time on the show. So if you go to the website, clintfuqua.com, check that out. Go on there, go to the media page, punch on the little blogger thing there. That way you go to the blog page. I'll have extra information about this show, and especially on the expose segments on there. So if I have a link I want to put out there, I'll put it out there. If there's something I need to clarify after I watch this show, because I will eventually, skip over something, or I'll need to clarify something much more, I'll have more things on there for you. But I want to leave you with a little bit of poetry from my website, and you'll see it on the front page of my website. Some people thought I was nuts for doing this. Some people thought it was genius. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. But with that, personal health care reform, a few things about that, and just to give you an expose about personal health care reform, where this came from. 3 things, 3 words: knowledge, health, freedom. Okay, they all build on each other. Okay, the more knowledge you have, and the more health you have, the more freedom you have. Okay, you take one of those 2 things away, you'll lose out on some freedom. So with that, a little bit of poetry for you from my website. Knowledge of your body, what goes into it, what happens to it, is the greatest instrument you have to maintain and increase your health on this journey through life. Okay, what that means is the more knowledge you have, the more you know about certain things. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to stay healthy. This way you don't get sick. This way you're not spending a lot of time at the doctor. The doctor appreciates that, because doctors really don't like to deal with sick people that much. They like to deal with healthy people. If you did not know that, now you know. Health, speaking of health, is greater than any amount of wealth. It is more precious than any stone, including diamonds. Even though I know diamonds are precious, they're nothing compared to your health. Especially whenever you're sick, you will figure that out. And more important than any event, due to the freedom that they create. What this means is, the healthier you are, the more freedom you have to go out and do things. If you're sick, you can't go out and do things, can you? For some people, freedom is walking up a flight of stairs. I mean, that's huge. If you can't walk up a flight of stairs, you lack freedom to do that. You lack freedom to do a lot of things. So, 1, increase your knowledge, increase your health, and that rolls into freedom. The more of each that you have, the freedom you have. And freedom is the ability to go beyond the limits imposed upon you by others, and to live a life of meaning. It's also so others can do the same that you're doing. So whenever you have more freedom, people see the freedom that you have. If you can show them how to have that by giving them more knowledge, so they increase their health, they have more freedom as well. So it compounds itself. The more you have, the more you can give, the more everybody else has. So back to that, 3 little words: knowledge, health, freedom. Very important thing. That's why on the logo I have them on there, because that's the base of all this. You got the knowledge, you got the health, you got the freedom, okay, to do whatever you want in your life. With that, Personal Healthcare Reform Talk Show on PHCR TV. Remember, I talk it so you can live it. Come back, join us next time. Next one, we're going to talk about immune function in the fall, because it's fall time. People are getting sick. It's cold and flu season. I don't want that to happen to you because, well, cold and flu, nobody wants them. With that, have a great day. See you next time. Have fun. Take a little tour around the place, and we're going to let the dietitian tell us what's in our foods and the best things for us.